Hi guys, so I'm turning on my stream really quickly to make this YouTube video, so most likely you're watching it on YouTube right now, welcome. The plan for today is basically cover dev blog number 6 for Aftermath. It's been a while since we had a patch, and so you probably noticed that. And if you're checking out this video, odds are you play Aftermath. If not, Aftermath is a cool game, willyoursurvive.com. You can install it. Basically, me and some of my friends are doing it as our own little indie project now. And we're introducing basically a ton of new items and stuff to the game and improving it. So this is going to basically be little patch notes. I'm going to read the patch notes to you and let you know kind of what's changed. And I also kind of want to do a dev blog about it and talk a little bit through what's changed, basically a little bit more in-depth about all the patch notes, because the patch notes, it's like 2 or 3 pages of patch notes. We had a pretty big fix for the game. At the end of this stream / YouTube video, we're also going to be patching the game. We know we introduced some bugs. We might have to wipe everyone's MX tax, unfortunately. There seems to be a bit of database corruption related to it since we switched the magazines that it's using. And so to prevent a bigger issue with it and prevent a ton of work related to that for such a small thing, we might just nuke all the MX tax and say sorry. But there's a bunch of new guns in the game for you to find and more on the way, etc. So one of the new guns is this right here. You probably haven't seen it yet. Reloads and stuff on it is kind of obviously broken, but that's okay because it shoots and looks cool. And then there's the new fire axe as well. So I figured I'd give you guys a sweet example of these, just right here, right now. Makes the video a little bit more fun. But there's a few new things. So that's one of the new Masadas. This is the other one. So you can take a look at it. Pretty cool. Basically, yeah. So hopefully you guys are liking the new stuff right now. There's the original one, so that's the 3 different tiers of those that are popping up in the game right now, as well as there's a new M16. It does not come by default with that, but yeah, basically the new M16s, so they look pretty dope. These are all available to be found in game. These are not skins. This is 6 unique different assault rifles right now, as well as a new fire axe. And so yeah, you can find these basically in Liberations, airdrops, etc. And this is going to kind of be, this is current guns, and guns are going to continue to get slightly stronger and rarer and stronger and rarer and stronger and rarer. We'll be introducing new armors and things like that as well, but if anything ever feels too strong for, its rarity, of course that will change. Another huge thing from this patch, obviously, was anti-cheat. Anti-cheat changed basically a ton, and since playing you probably haven't seen any cheaters, and we intend to keep it that way. We introduced hardware bans and IP bans to some extent, but it's really mostly focused around the hardware ban. So we're not taking cheating lightly at all. Basically, me and my friends recognize that we have a really small, tight-knit community with Aftermath, and we want to keep it that way. And so as we grow, we have no problems with executing shitty members of the community. And so, we don't really want any cheaters in the game. And so we're going to be very vigilant about that. I know some of you guys were upset that the game's been up for a month and, oh no, we had to actually work on it and introduce our anti-cheat. So, now it's here. We'll continue to update it, but you got to realize that when I'm working on stuff in the database and our artist is working on stuff, that those don't have any fucking thing to do with anti-cheat, okay? I'm not a programmer, and neither is our artist. Our programmer is our programmer, so he handles that type of thing. You gotta realize we can all work on our own different facet of the game while not interrupting each other. So, we make what I'm calling the Triforce right now. Aftermath's, of course, a game that's big enough that we could easily have 15 employees working on the game at any time. It's huge. There's a million things to be done. Our internal list between me and my 2 friends right now is like pages of shit that can be done. And that's not even anything related to like rendering and lighting and shadows and shit that requires a fucking graphics engineer that we obviously don't have and don't have a budget for. So, you know, right now we're gonna make do with what we got and make sure that, you know, it's not pay to win, etc. We appreciate you guys supporting us with Legendary, of course. You know, purchasing Legendary helps every month. That's what's gonna keep the servers up and gonna keep things getting fixed and stuff like that, you know. Hopefully we'll be able to introduce skins soon. But right now we need to make a different way to go about doing it, and you know, still try to fix a couple more of the core bugs. But we have some more methods of monetization that we're definitely going to be introducing to the game, but they should never actually affect the core gameplay loop. The most pay to win that we're gonna have in the game is basically rented servers. You know, we think that that's about as far as we're gonna go with pay to win type stuff. You know, I think that people can really enjoy skins and things like that. And you know, skins, when I say skins, I'm mostly talking about skins for your character cosmetics. But yeah, so that's my little rant about that. Let's cover the patch notes though, since you know, here I'm just gonna read you guys the entire patch notes. And hi guys on the stream. Right now you gotta realize I'm making a little YouTube video, so I'm gonna ignore you guys. Deal with it. So I'm just gonna read over the patch notes right now. So it starts off with, hello my friends. First I would like to thank you for being so patient with us. As many of you may not know, Aftermath is a hobby shared by myself and 2 friends dedicating our free time. It's not our full-time focus. We all have lives and jobs outside of Aftermath. We believe, however, that with a steady bit of free time during the week and on the weekends, we can slowly chip away at Aftermath and fashion it into something truly great. Today's update has been in the works for about 3 weeks now, and we think it's the first step to many steps to make Aftermath an incredible game. Here's what's new. So our anti-cheat has been deployed. Will continue to be deployed throughout the next series of patches and from all patches hereforth as we discover things and fix things, and vigilant members of the community send us cheats and stuff like that and send us information. You know, we'll be tailoring our anti-cheat to deal with it. You know, and then all bans are permanent without appeal. If we figure out there's a mistake with us banning you, we'll unban you. It doesn't matter if you send us a ticket or not. We'll figure out if we made a mistake or not and unban you in the very unlikely event that you're wrongfully banned. Don't worry. So there's a bunch of new items which I just showed you guys. It's the 3 new M16s and the 3 new Masadas, as well as the fire axe. So it's these guns right here. These are all available to be found now in the game. They drop in airdrops mostly, but you know, of course they can still be found around military bases and things like that. You might notice other guns in the list. There's no point in me clicking them, it's just going to crash me. It's just me setting up stuff so that it's going to work eventually when we have it working. But for right now, these are the new guns. They don't have scopes. I don't know why it keeps trying to give it a scope, but you can attach scopes to it. So those are the new guns. Haha! I'll continue with the patch notes now. There's 5 new scopes for SMGs and assault rifles. Oh, you know, we can show you that real quick right here. Bam, bam, bam. So let's see here. We got this reflex sight. Bam, there it is. We got this compact scope. We got this red dot. We got this Cobra. We got the Swiss Arms, yo. And we got the ACOG. So we can come up with some different names for them. We'll name them whatever we want, you guys. If you want to come up with something better, but for now that's like the file name on it. So and I think in game right now they don't even actually have an official name, so if we want to come up with something else. And then there's some new sniper scopes, which if I can find the sniper in the list of shit now, let me find it for you. I know it's somewhere right around here. There it is. Okay, I'll show you the new scopes for the sniper. So right now I've called it, so this is the default scope right here, bam, and I've called it the 80X, the Magnum 90X, and the 100X. So those are your new scoperoos to be found. Let's see here. Pistol ammunition damage has been normalized and set to 90% of the rifle damage. The reason for this is because pistol damage seemed to be, like, you know, totally off the charts. I don't know what happened there, but somehow pistol damage was really freaking high. So now it does 90% of assault rifle damage, etc. And obviously the best thing is going to be the multiplier on your guns. And something else that was weird with it was a lot of pistols had like 130% damage multipliers. So I just nerfed the damage of the pistol ammunition, but then instead of having like a 70% damage multiplier on the pistol, it's now 100%. So I kind of evened them out so it's not such a weird formula going on there. So they're just kind of 1-to-1. We'll see how those feel. I also separated the handguns from all the other table right now, and now they spawn in the tier 1 and tier 2 tables. When a tier 3 item rolls and a tier 4 item rolls, it's no longer possible for it to spawn a pistol on those. So if you find a pistol, you know you've gotten a tier 1 or tier 2 roll. They're more common in tier 1 rolls than tier 2, but the box of these items isn't even actually that rare. But pistols are just not like a super dope item in the game. I mean, yeah, it's great to have a good backup pistol for, you know, your secondary, but I don't want it to be like a tier 3 or tier 4 drop snapped up by a pistol. That shit sucks. So I removed that shit. So with that, some weapons have received some balance damage updates. Melee weapons that were facing the wrong side have been corrected. So like, you know, the katana was swinging the wrong way. Rifle ammunition damage got normalized, and sniper recoil has been adjusted to be more forgiving. I think guns might end up gaining a tiny bit more damage as things go, but I have a feeling that guns are going to gain the damage in the sense that like we're going to introduce more new guns to the game that are rare. Like, you know, I want it to be seen as like a Hitman right now. People see Hitman as like, whoa, Hitman's the best gun in the game. I want that to seem as like a mid-tier gun. It has a mid-tier drop rate. Hitman is not that hard to acquire. And then, you know, so that if that's mid-tier, then, you know, we're going to introduce something, the next kind of tier of guns is going to be high-tier, and then they'll be like ultra-high-tier, or, you know, legendary type rare shit that's, you know, significantly rare, you know, 10 times as rare as a Hitman and stuff like that. You know, you're saying right now, like, oh, Hitman's easy to find. Exactly. It's supposed to be. It's mid-tier. Okay, sniper recoil was adjusted to be more forgiving. Yeah, sniper recoil was just probably a little high. Huge updates come next is audio updates. So your footsteps and other player footsteps have been separated, so hearing other player footsteps is easier. Yeah, this was a big thing that we needed that I ended up spending about probably 10 hours on, just going over all the audio in the game and listening to it and balancing it against everything else. And so what I did is I kind of normalized everything around the MX TAC shooting and how loud I want that to be, and everything else is kind of balanced around how loud is it when you're shooting. So, because, you know, when you're shooting, like, when you're shooting a gun, it should be fucking loud. So, you know, it kind of gives you a feel of, like, do-do-do-do. So whenever you set your volume, you kind of set it around, like, you know, what's the loudest you want it to be when you're shooting, and then the rest of the volume's adjusted like that. I have a thread on the forums that says, if anything's too quiet, post here. Nobody said anything. People said it sounds good, so I think it's good. A big thing that I want to do, more kind of expanded on audio that's not part of this patch, is a massive revamp of the ambience on the map, because I fixed a ton of audio. We have so much audio now that we can use. Like, there was so many bugged bird sounds and, like, I don't know, all sorts of shit. Long story short, there was some crazy 3D positional audio shit that was put into our audio stuff, and our engine had no support for it. So then when we try and use those sounds in game, they don't work. So none of that shit ever worked. So I removed the 3D positional audio effects on it, rebuilt it, committed it, boom, suddenly the sounds work in game. So we're gonna have like a whole stream dedicated to audio, and like making sure that there's wind in the deserts, and, you know, there's just a fucking ton of shit. There's like cat meowing and dogs barking and like electrical sounds like bzz, bzz, you know, like all the things that were like fucked up. There's a million different birds and quail and like chirps and things like that, cicadas and crickets, and we can set stuff to work at like certain times a day. Okay, so yeah, that's audio. Also, the LBZ received some new audio, but I separated footsteps, and that was the biggest thing of them all, is the fact that you can really hear other player footsteps compared to yourself. And so far, I've only gotten good feedback about it. Everybody loves it. So that was a big thing I wanted to do with audio. That was like, you know, conquering the audio beast round 1. But it's a multi-phase boss fight, so we'll be back. Moving on, attachments all got normalized to use, you know, our Stanag 30s, 45s, 60s, and C-Mags. That kind of fucked up everything, so woohoo. That's why MX TACs are getting wiped, basically, because we gotta delete them. They're database corrupt. So the LBZ can use any assault rifle scope now. Some scopes are getting little minor updates, you know, whatever. Basically, we work on it, me and my 2 friends right now. We kind of just say, hey, what do you want to do? And it's like, oh, I'll work on this. Okay, well, I'll work on that. And yeah, So you know, it's whatever. It's low hanging fruit right now. We're doing things that, you know, we want to do that we know are going to make the game better ultimately. So, you know, we conquered the anti-cheat beast. Hopefully nobody's cheating anymore. I don't expect anyone is. You know, you'd have to be a fucking retard right now to do it. But you know, I know a lot of you are retarded. So, a couple of retards watching the video right now. High five. Moving on. All assault rifles can use all attachments now. Yeah, dope shit. We had some texture fix optimizations, which seem to be counteracted by the fact that certain users are like getting really crazy FPS spikes for some reason. Don't know what's going on with that. Fixes to tree collision. There was a couple things related to it, like, you know, the tree would be rotated in a certain position on your client, but then the server would have a different position for the tree. So imagine the tree's like, this is my hand, you know, and this is like a vertical slice of it. So yeah, it would be like rotated this way, and so the collision, and on the server it should line up like that, but maybe the other tree was rotated like that. So you're like shooting and you're hitting this, and on your client it's not here, but on server it's like, that's a branch, bro, no damage, 0. So some of that shit got fixed. I'm sure it's still fucked up to some degree, but we know what's kind of going on with it, how it's basically a desync between your client and the server's collision, and probably the way that it's being generated, and who knows. The day-night cycle also got redone from scratch, so you probably noticed night is significantly darker between the hours of 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. After that, the sun is, you know, coming up or still in the setting process. So that's in prep for night vision. We do want to bring night vision to Aftermath, and night vision will work probably like it's an item in your quick slot that you'll just pop in. Food and water consumption rates got normalized. I don't know what the fuck was going on there with that. Water was depleting 50% faster than food. I mean, sure, in real life you probably need a bunch of liquids running around, but like, this is a video game where food and water is kind of equal drop rates. And I mean, yeah, there's wells on the map, so you can always access as much like water as you want, but it's like obnoxious. So it's now normalized. It's 40 minutes from full food to full empty. So basically that's gameplay right there. There's a reason that you're playing Aftermath and not Call of Duty, so you need to go and fucking scavenge. So you need to drink some food and water, and always have some food and water on you. It's part of the meta in the game. It's one of the things that makes it so you can't just camp on a roof for fucking years. You need to be like, oh shit, we need to go do a food run. Guess what? That's gameplay. You gotta go kill some zombies. Suddenly you get into an ambush. Shit's exciting. I need you to move around the map, and food and water is one of the ways that I can get you to move or go do something related to it and at least stock up. But food and water does force movement in disguise. You don't know that, but I do. The harvesting axe recipe's been removed for now, and harvesting prompts got removed. So if you have a harvesting axe, it's kind of like a rare item, but for right now it doesn't really do anything, and we don't want you harvesting shit. The building costs and crafting cost balance hasn't really ultimately been done yet. So there's no reason to constantly have prompts like that. Moving on, loot changes. I already kind of covered the little bit about pistols and how they got normalized and placed in their own unique pistol table shared in Tier 1 and Tier 2 weapon spawns. But let's talk about Liberation GD rewards. I normalized those. It's now static rates of, you win 500 GD for a Liberation. You win 1,000, you get 2,500, or you get 5,000. And it's a breakdown of, you know, 35% drop rate, 17, 8, 4, 2. Okay? So each time you do a Liberation, you're going to get just a raw amount of GD. It doesn't matter if you did a Stafford or if you did a solo lib. I figure you put in the time, you repair the generators, you get to pull the slot machine on GD. Now you're like, what do I do with GD Artemis? Fuck if I know right now. I haven't done that shit yet. That's a whole nother can of worms that once we get all the other systems working, all basically, because right now I'm slowly layering in GD. You notice zombies drop GD sometimes. Now Liberations are going to consistently give it to you. You probably notice there's certain items you can vendor. Don't worry, I haven't balanced any of the vendor prices yet, so you're getting completely random fuck knows numbers for how much. But I will balance it, and it will work in some fashion similar to World of Warcraft Gold, where there's things in the game that are worth a lot of gold, and you want gold. And, you know, it's a closed loop system. You're never going to be able to turn GC into GD. You need to play to get GD. And there might even eventually be a vendor that only sells certain things for premium users. Like, say you're premium, there's certain things the vendor will sell you, but you can still only get GD with it. So it's just another reason to be premium and help support the game. But that basically covers it for the patch notes. The final part of it is that I updated helicopter crash loot. I figure they're already kind of tough enough to find because our particle effect for it's so fucking terrible that it's like, congratulations, you found it. So tier 3 armor can now spawn in it, and tier 1 and 2 weaponry was removed from helicopter crashes. So you have a pretty high odds of finding something dope. You know, that's a good place to find one of the new assault rifles, etc. And so this last part is community devs. So you might have noticed there's a new forum that you can't view on the forums called Community Development Forums. This is for members of the community, and this is kind of a shout out to anyone. If you have knowledge that we can use, if you know how certain things work, you have familiarity with coding or programming in some regard, even if it's minor scripting stuff, if you can model, if you can animate, if there's something that you can do that we can then say, hey, this is the exact format that we need it in, and we'll put it in the game. If you can do that, you can be part of our little mini dev team as a community dev. I promote you on the forums. You get access to this. The first dev on the forums is Cardi20. You guys probably noticed. Cardi's on the forums regularly trying to help people. Some of his stuff is right, some of it's wrong. That's how it is. That's how it is with all of us. Nobody knows the answer for sure. You need to be able to solve problems in real time, and so he's demonstrated that he can try, and even if he's right, even if he's wrong, he still tries. So that's what we need. We need people who, you know, if you get knocked down, you keep getting back up. You got to be relentless. So he's been relentless, and so he earned the status on the forums. And so if you want to help and you want to make some stuff for the game and you want to see it in Aftermath, you know, prove that you can do it. Send either me a PM or one of the other devs. Like, send it to Green. Green is our programming related dev. Patches is our artwork related dev, and then I run the whole database and the implementation side of things for all the items and running the map and all that crap. So if you think that you got something that you can do to help us, we're totally all ears, because, you know, like I said at the start of the video, there could be like 15 people working full-time on Aftermath. It's a big game. There's always something that could be done. I mean, hell, if you know how to do grass, maybe you can make us new grass and we can implement it into the game, you know? I'm saying anything. Obviously, though, what we're trying to do is optimize right now. We wanna increase everybody's frame rate as much as possible and make sure that the game functions properly. Form and function, you know? We don't really care how pretty it looks. We want the gameplay to all feel right. So if there's something that's off, then, you know, that's how it is. But that basically wraps up my devblog 6 video, so hopefully you liked it. Tell your friends about Aftermath. I try to do, you know, probably either a weekly or bi-weekly devblog update, and, you know, we're doing probably about roughly every 2 to 3 weeks a patch for Aftermath. If we have major problems, you know, we'll patch quicker than that, but you got to realize that since we're just 3 dudes working in our own free time, we're always going to be strapped for time and doing it in our own free time. So, you know, there's always something that can be done, always. So one step at a time, you know, we got to get the low-hanging fruit and hit the things that are the nastiest bugs first. So, thanks for watching. Alright, guys.